Guys, I'm Steve. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video. If this is the first time stopping by the channel, hit that subscribe button. Trust me, you won't regret it. You're a returning subscriber as always. Welcome back, and I do appreciate the support. Guys, this is a little bit over 24 hours when we first reported on this channel about this woman right here, Brandee Patrice Pierce, age 41. I guess she's from Detroit. Shout out Motown. And the reason why she made the news was because the body of her 9-year-old son, Zamar King III, may he rest in peace, was found by construction workers remodeling a renovated home or renovating a home that she had stayed in 2024, where she buried her son in the backyard of the house before moving off to Cobb County, Georgia, which she just got arrested, and they're going to extradite her back to, Detroit. Now, they spoke to some neighbors and they were talking about her, and more information has come out, a little bit more information, but I wanted to share it with you guys. This is one of those type of cases, man, where it have you scratching your head to where you don't understand how a parent could do this to a child, their own kid. Supposedly, this young man was strangled to death, and he died from neck compressions and, strangulation. That's what the coroner says. And his mother's the one that did it. Then she went and buried him in the backyard before leaving to try to start a life again with another 3-year-old son that she had, like he never existed. Take a look.
Well, turning now to a heartbreaking story on Detroit's west side, where a mother is charged in the murder of her 9-year-old son. Zamar King's remains were discovered in the backyard of his home on Woodingham Drive near Outer Drive in Livernois last month. We've been following this story since those remains were found, but today we learn this tragic case stretches back even further. 7 News Detroit reporter Randy Wimbley has more from police, prosecutors, and a neighbor who knew the family.
Investigators believe they've gotten to the bottom of a grim discovery at this home on the city's west side. A little boy's body was found buried behind this garage. His mother is now accused of killing him.
I want to talk about a case of a young boy named Zamar King III.
Wayne County prosecutor Kim Worthy levying charges against 41-year-old Brandee Pierce for the murder of her 9-year-old son.
The cause of death found by the medical examiner was smothering and neck compression.
Authorities believe it happened in October of last year. Zamar's remains were not found until January 6th of this year, buried behind a garage at the rental home on Woodingham, where Pierce lived with Zamar and her other son, said to be 3 years old.
It's alleged that she purchased a shovel. She bound him by tying his hands and feet together and dug a hole in the background of the house on Woodingham, where she had been living for a short time.
Sources tell me Pierce moved into the house in early September of 2024.
It's sad, though. It's really sad that that happened.
One neighbor who did not want to be identified recalled an encounter with Pierce back in early November. She knew something was wrong. It was a month after authorities say Zamar was murdered.
As a woman, I'm like, are you okay? She's like, yeah, and then she would stand there, and then she would walk back. She'd stand there, walk back. So maybe something was wrong with her, I don't know, or maybe she was dealing with the issue of what she did.
Sources tell me the landlord went to the home to do some maintenance 2 days before Thanksgiving and found the home vacant. Pierce fled the state to Georgia with her 3-year-old son, where Worthy says he is now in foster care. Public records show Pierce was arrested in Brookhaven, Georgia, for cruelty to children in the first degree on December 20th. Pierce was arrested again in Cobb County, Georgia, on January 10th. For possession of a controlled substance and theft. Meanwhile, here in Wayne County,
we are charging Brandee Patrice Pierce today with 1 count of murder in the first degree premeditation. Count 2 is homicide felony murder.
The Detroit Police Department works relentlessly on behalf of victims, and we are confident that there will be accountability for this.
Now, Pierce is in custody in Georgia. Investigators are working to get her extradited back here to Wayne County, where she will face those murder charges. I'm Randy Wimbley, 7 News Detroit.
All right, guys, that's the story, and some more stuff being said. The neighbor said she came across Miss Pierce, and she was kind of erratic And she said she don't know if she was having issues, which we all knew she was having issues, but or it was her reflecting on what she did and trying to get out of there. See, it's one thing, man, you know, these people do this type of stuff, and it's like the detachment of just not even them being a human being, the detachment from a child that you had. I don't understand it. And then if you really sit back and like really let this play through from what was said, you know, you choked the life out of your child, then he died. Don't know if the 3-year-old was present. Most likely, yeah, he was. Because nowadays people are doing some of the craziest, vile stuff in the presence of children that recorded in their subconscious. And as they get older, they themselves do vile things as well. That's why we got a lot of heartless, savage, uncaring young people out here, because they witness too much, whether they're around their parents or other people that was guardians or they was allowed to be around. Stuff was done to them and they do stuff to others. Kids don't ask to be here. And what's messed up is nowadays, with the way a lot of people think and still want to live their lives, all the while of pushing children out of them and having them as accessories, just tagging along. And they, you know what? I'm going to live my life. I'm tired of this. The child made me mad. Let me show them what it's about. And they take them out of here. Sickening. Watch mental illness come out of this all of a sudden. Because for some odd reason, those that can understand, the ones that understand what they did, they always got to put that moniker of mentally ill on it because they can't understand it. Oh, that person's crazy. Okay, let's put the moniker of mental illness on it. This is sick. It's sick to the point where you choked the life out of him. Saw your son's lifeless body there. Didn't grieve, didn't do anything. Went and brought a shovel. Don't know if she brought it before or after she did it. But I do know this was planned. Either before you brought the shovel or after you knew you didn't want to deal with him. And I wouldn't be surprised if it has something to do with how she feels about his dad. Whether Zamar looked like his father, he might have said or acted in a manner that reminded her of this man. And she did him in. Because I'm going to tell you something. That's one thing people don't never think about when they're like, oh, how can somebody do this to a kid? There are a lot of children out here right now that suffer because they look like the other half that made them or act like the other half they made them. It's like a lot of times women have these kids out here, not all, but they have these children and they expect the DNA that's in them to fully take over the child and the other half of the DNA that made them to just omit into the universe. Stuff is crazy. I said this yesterday. If a child makes you mad enough to where you want to hurt them or kill them, you call the father. If you can't get in contact with him, you call a family member. Because the last thing you want to do is hurt your child. I done had baby moms call me, hey, get your son before I kill him. I swear to God. And I go and grab him, take him with me for a couple of days or whatever. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what her problem is. And I frankly don't care. Because what she did was cold, it was calculated, it took thought, it took effort, and it took time, and it was all absent of love. See, I'm gonna tell you something. People say hell is hot. If hell is a place, I believe it's ice cold. Because it's the furthest place away from the love of God. You know, when somebody do something to you bad, you be like, man, that's cold-blooded. Oh, man, that's so cold to do that to somebody. Ain't nothing colder than this. Could you imagine back when you was 9 years old? That's a 3rd grade child. That's a little kid. And the person that's supposed to protect you and defend you is there choking the life out of your very life. I mean, your lungs. And you just think about that. Mothers are nurturers. You know what I'm saying? Consolers. Little Zamar King III didn't see that at the end. I wonder what the last thing he saw before everything faded to black. Was it his brother crying? Was it her just looking him in his face, choking him out? Was he thinking about his dad, his grandmom, those that he cared about? Was he looking at the door, hoping somebody would come through and help him? There are a lot of children out here right now that scream, whether outwardly or inside, for help that never arrives. I want you to think about that. Child has no physical rivalry to a grown-up fighting on them, beating on them, doing stuff to them. And the grown-up knows too. And there are a lot of children that are prisoners in their own home that's supposed to be filled with love, but nothing but hate and chaos. I have no respect, crazy or not, for people that do this type of shit. And I think, honestly, they need to put them down like the animals that they are. This is bullshit. And I'm not going to yell. I'm not, because like when I talk about this stuff with the children or crimes where people know they're taking advantage of somebody or they can crush somebody and they do it, it's unacceptable to me. That's beyond bullying. I don't know what made her do what she did, but she did it. And it wasn't an honest mistake. It was willful and intentional. And she had to go just like a lot of other people out here that did this and didn't get caught. All right, I'm going to end it on that. Stock Market Steve for the Dynamic Reason channel. As always, like, comment, share, and subscribe. I'll see you in the next video. Take care. God bless and take care of yourself.